PK with us tonight. Is a futurist, and he's a consultant for organizations as well as high net worth individuals. And he has obliged us this moment for us to discuss globally, get perspective, get clarity, and also know how to properly position ourselves to take advantage of all of this, because there is always advantage in advantage if you can design it, if you can see it. So, well, I'm going to start right on, if you don't mind, PK.
I'm ready.
It was in 1998 that Dr. Spencer Johnson wrote a book that remained an all-time bestseller for 5 years, New York Times bestseller for 5 years, titled "Who Moved My Cheese?" You know, and the central of the is that that's the wrong question to be asking. The question to be asking is, where is the cheese now? The cheese is already moved anyway. You know, I don't say who is already moved. You know, now,
yes.
First I want to ask a PK is the world on reset? And if the world is on reset, what is the landscape of this new world we're talking about?
Yes, thank you so much, man of God. It's an honor to be here again. I think part of the critical things that people need to also understand is that the world has always been managed by 3 different groups of people. The power centers, who pretty much determine human experiences, right? And there is a human element and a non-human element to that. Okay? Unto good or unto evil. There are power centers that control human experiences. Then there are culture shapers who themselves are controlled by the power centers, but they are the ones that everybody sees. So the way I put it is that there are 3 people in the world. The people we see every time, which is the masses, everybody in the world, the 99%. Then the people we see only when they are displayed, only when they are shown, only when they are revealed. Those are the culture shapers. They are CEOs, politicians, businessmen, actors, movie stars, singers. Those guys are the ones who shape culture, and essentially they control the taste, the fashion, the acceptances, the thinking of the masses. Then there are those we do not see at all. They are the power centers who control the guys that we see when they are shown. You know, and the guys we don't see at all are the guys who are not partisan. They are neither PDP or APC. They are neither Republican or Democrat. They are non-partisan, because power at the highest level is not partisan. Like we say in the West, in Yoruba, so the head of a family cannot be partisan, because part of his people in his family are going to belong to different constituencies. Yes, so if he has to hold his role as a head of the family, he cannot belong to any. So these guys pretty much democratize their powers such that whether you choose A or B, you are choosing them. So they pretty much take a stake in your options. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you choose. They arrest your choices. They give you control over your choices, but they take a stake in the options. And that is how power expresses itself. So whether you choose APC or PDP, or you choose Republican or Democrat, you are choosing them. Whether you choose Facebook or you choose Instagram, you are choosing Mark Zuckerberg. Whether you choose Toyota or you choose Lexus, you are still choosing the same person. Whether you choose Peak Milk or you choose 3 Crown, you are still choosing the same person. Whether you choose DSTV or GoTV, you are choosing the same organization. The idea is to pitch a stake in your options so that whichever direction you go, you are choosing them. Now, where that comes to this conversation is that those guys, don't forget, they shape culture and they are always ahead. You know, God is faithful, because what has happened to the world is that some people have gained incredible advantage in the last 10 years of the human world. They've gone ahead. And even though God did not create COVID, COVID is also slowing down the system so that a lot of people that were out of the loop can catch up, because a lot has already gone technological wise, with nanotechnology, with electronics, so much is already happening in the world. And a critical constituency, even the church, have been left behind. Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Great. So a critical part of the world, including the church, have been left behind, in a new world that is essentially borderless. So, therefore, you find that we have outgrown satisfaction now. The new war is going to be around preferences. I say to business people anywhere, customer satisfaction has run its course. What we are going to begin to manage is customer preferences and customer advocacy. I'm going to get there, but I just want to quickly explain what a post-COVID world looks like, pretty much. So what has happened is we have been forced into a dimension of life that is pretty much borderless. Two words are going to describe a post-COVID world for us. The first one is borderlessness. Borderlessness. And about 2 years ago, I did my annual endeavor called Next 365. And I invested 4 hours of audio work explaining borderlessness. And I said to people, 3 years ago actually, I said to people that globalization has ended its movement. Globalization is an unfair trade. It is a system that favored countries that transcend the limits of visa, and countries who are still arrested by the power of visa are not stakeholders in the globalization, in the world running on globalization. So essentially, a lot of people, a lot of nations could not participate in that trade, right? Because the American or the Frenchman or the British can pick his ideas or his goods and services and go anywhere in the world at the speed of decision, at the speed of desire, at the speed of opportunity. He can respond to it. If an African sees that opportunity, he cannot respond at the speed of opportunity. He has to respond, he has to go and check his passport if he has the visa to move around. So there is a delayed. Hello, sir.
Extra constraints.
Exactly. So he's going to have to pause and see if he's qualified to be able to make that move. It can take him 3 weeks to be able to make that move. His counterpart in Paris had made that move at the speed of arrival of the opportunity. So we knew that such an idea cannot be from God because it favors a group and it doesn't favor some. It's a human invention that has to be at some point defeated. Okay? Borderlessness is the arrangement for underdogs to shine, to defeat the limits of the globalization, disrupt it, and take it to a new level. Borderlessness is going to get popular as we move into the next 5, 10, 15 years. We are going to begin to appreciate the word borderlessness. It's going to go popular. It is a world where the human life now has the capacity to control its own reality, attract purchasing power and followership from all over the world on one spot without altering its geography, without necessarily altering its geography. And the group I like to bring as the example of that is an evil group. Nobody should be proud of that. It's a shameful group. But they have used borderlessness to perpetuate their ideas at a level. And that is terror. ISIS, as a matter of fact. ISIS did not have business cards. They did not have, they were not doing PowerPoint presentations. They did not have a business development unit. They didn't have marketers. They didn't travel the world. They didn't open stores all over the world. They didn't open branches across the world. They were on one spot. And their masquerade was dancing on one spot. But they were forcing doctors, engineers, IT professionals, people with a life, were abandoning their lifestyle in first world countries and traveling to ISIS camp in Syria, ISIS camp, in Iraq, and they were going there ready to die. They were terminating their existence, for an evil cause, and this organization moving them across the world is not leaving one spot. That is borderlessness at its crude best. It's an opportunity for other underdogs to have their highest expression, right, without the limits of geography. And technology is the instrument for making that happen. Technology is the instrument for making that happen. There is no way ideas can spread, right? Ideas, the rate at which ideas spread, the speed at which ideas spread, and the depth to which ideas are accepted cannot be done without the place of technology, right? One of the reasons why 5G is so critical for human use is sad, is very sad, that a lot of people, in their ignorance, were attacking 5G and attacking the whole world and saying all kinds of things. Is very sad. What is even more of a tragedy is that Christians who are supposed to know better and to understand the signs of the times were also, blinded by the weight of that conversation. We need 5G like yesterday. End time evangelism is impossible without 5G. There is no way we can manage the restlessness of Generation Z and Generation and millennials without the blessing of the speed and the interaction possibilities that exist in 5G. We must understand that consumption has changed in its quality. The people to deal with in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, are Generation Z. Those guys are so restless. I tell people that gold is not the most important resource in the world today. The most important resource, the most powerful resource in the world is not crude oil, it's not gold, it's not even data, it's attention. Attention has become the most critical resource in the world today. And guess what? Part of that is that Generation Z is championing all of that drama. Generation Z is championing all of that drama. Sorry, I need to plug my... Sorry, my battery was going down. I needed to charge it. I'm good now. So Generation Z is going to be exuding a dimension of restlessness that we need to catch them at a level. And that is the necessity of 5G. And part of what has happened is the church, as a matter of fact, and when I say the church, I mean the leaders, teachers in the church, business people in the church, right? Technocrats in the church, not just the fivefold ministry. I mean, culture shapers in the church, our guys in acting, our guys in the music space, our guys in the political space need to begin to understand the incredible responsibility that is on them as far as culture shaping is concerned. We were out of the loop. We were completely out of the loop. And this particular experience that we are dealing with has given us a level playing field. I want to remind everybody, this is the decade of the underdogs. Sir, if we add just 20 years, just 30 years to any human life now, the person that is 5 will be 35. The person who is 10 will be 40. The person who is 20 will be 50. The 30-year-old will be 60. So let's come home, sir. So the 60-year-old will be 90. The 70-year-old will be 100. The 50-year-old will be 80, right? So whether we like it or not, the leadership of the world is already marked with a lifespan. In 30 years' time, everybody we know in politics all over the world will have been gone, or they will be at the departure lounge of life. Donald Trump will have been gone. Bill Clinton will have been gone. Joe Biden will have been gone. Buhari will have been gone. Tinubu will have been gone. Think about it. Everybody with Atiku, Obasanjo, they all have been gone. right? In our business space as well. Anybody that is above 60 now, or that is 60 or 70, will have been gone, or they will be at the departure lounge of life. The fathers of the next 30 years are the guys in their 40s today, are the guys in their early 50s today, and the emerging powers and fathers of the next 30 years are the guys in their 30s and in their 20s today, because they will be 60 something, they will be 50 something at that time. Part of what that means is that we should be ready. We should be ready. So if I'm going to answer the question of where we are now, I would say, one, we are in a season of borderlessness strengthened by technology. We are going to speak less and less of underdeveloped, developing, or developed countries. We are going to speak more and more of smarter and smartest countries. We're going to speak less and less of democracy. We're going to speak more and more of technocracy. Technocracy is going to be the new power. And part of that is degrees like MBA, degrees like management degrees will still be important, but they will be secondary instruments. The primary instruments will be technological understanding, technological intelligence and awareness. So in a technocracy, it's a system that is driven by technology and managed by technologists. So a medical doctor will not just have a degree of medicine. He will also have some critical background knowledge in technology as a technologist for him to be able to run a hospital. Because whether we like it or not, the days we are in now, you can no longer just be a hospital. And I'll close this question on this. If you are a hospital, in pre-COVID, your job was to use technology to treat people. You are a hospital using technology to treat people. That is pre-COVID. In post-COVID, you are a technology organization that is treating people. As a church, in pre-COVID, churches use technology as backdoor. We use it as backdoor. Meanwhile, in post-COVID, technology is front door. It's not backdoor. The best way to explain that is Amazon. If we look at Amazon today, Amazon has stores offline. People need to know that Amazon has a lot of stores offline, a lot of warehouses offline, right? And they also have business online. But the online business of Amazon is front door, not back door. You don't enter Amazon from their offline activity. You enter Amazon from their online activity. Their offline activity is backdoor. It means that if I want to buy something from Amazon and I am in Gambia or in Lagos, Nigeria, or in Mombasa, Kenya, if Amazon sticks to its offline store, it will deny me the opportunity to reach them, because their online is what keeps them global and stretch them to the world. So we are limited in income and revenue. We are limited in reach, right? Because if we are not borderless and we don't operate online. So online has become the new line now. Online is no longer what we use to support what we do offline. Online is what we do. And what we do offline is supporting what we do online. So who we are is online. What supports it is offline. That is the post-COVID. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you sell pins or you sell bread or you are a restaurant, whatever you do, or you are a hospital or you are a singer or a poet, whatever you do, online is your new line. In the future, we are going to speak less and less of offline university, online university. No, there's just going to be university and it will be online. Universities in the next 10 years, 20 years will be bungalows with servers. That's it. And this is the reality that we have to deal with. And this is the new world that we have come to, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So economic recession is not the disappearance of funds from the economic system. It is situation as a result of redistribution.
Yes, sir.
Leave the earth, it only changes addresses. Some
Yes,
are
sir.
serious money right now, because of the opportunities in this whole pandemic. It's all about discovering
Correct, sir.
and plugging into it. Now that seems very difficult for a lot of people, because to be able to plug into opportunities, it requires clear thinking, a mind that
Yes,
is
sir.
not in the gutters,
Yes, sir.
out,
Yes, sir.
and that is in the
Yes,
game,
sir.
and is able to see opportunities and leverage them. Can you mention? I just want to ask if you can mention in very practical terms the key sectors to pay attention to and the inroads into such sectors.
Yes, sir. Part of the reason why I love you, sir, is um, your insistence on having the most important conversations every time, and how you have not allowed religion to shift you from the culture, from the marketplace. I really celebrate you for that, and I will continue to do so. That is the strength of your work that you do, and I really, really celebrate it. I'm so glad you asked that question because it's a critical question, sir. And I know it's not coming from a place of just thought. It's coming as a pastor sitting on the heads of so many entrepreneurs, and you know that people need to answer these questions, and a lot of businesses are going to ignore it. They just think that we are going to come into our world will just continue after COVID, after the lockdown. No, it's not just going to continue. So I'm going to mention some key things and some key areas that I think people should focus on. But Pastor mentioned recession now. Let me help, guys. Let me help you all make sense of that word recession. Every time you hear recession, don't let it move you. Recession is one sentence. The reduction in the flow of opportunity. That's it. So there's still money, there's still activity, but opportunity is what is pretty much arrested. So we are going to have few opportunities for a lot of people. That's recession in the most lay way to explain it. Few opportunities for a lot of people. So the game in that kind of world is, how do I plug into that opportunity? How do I remain in that opportunity? Now let me say this to everyone real quick. Now, you see, before COVID, I'm going to mention some sectors and some industries. But let me give you this foundation. Before COVID, pre-COVID, we had the 1%, and then we had the 99%. Now, every time we think of the 1%, we think of billionaires. And we think we are not in the loop. Well, to be in the 1%, once you are making $35,000 a year, right, you are in the 1%. Once you are making about $35,000 a year, you are pretty much in the 1%. That is about 15 million or 12 million or 30 million naira or thereabout. You are automatically in the 1%. So a lot of people are in that 1%, but by their own limited understanding, they point fingers to the 1%. And so you are in the 1%. And when you look at your life with the little that you have, and you are in the 1%, you can now imagine how terrible it is for the remaining 99%, who don't even have your life, and they are the ones called the 99%. Now, the bigger idea is that in pre-COVID, the 1% and the 99% coexisted on a balance of power structure. It means the 99% could choose if they want to work for the 1% or not. They could choose how they want to relate, what their prices will be. They could choose how they want to express themselves. The 99% could negotiate with the 1% post-COVID. A plumber can choose to work for you or not work for you. He can choose to go work for something. If organizer can determine its own price and say if you cannot pay, that's it, and all of that. So the 99% could determine a lot. However, in post-COVID, there is no coexistence of the 99 and the 1%. Rather, there is a dependence of the 99% on the 1%. There is a dependence of the 99% on the 1%. I call it the Hunger Games Society. And I always recommend people should watch the movie Hunger Games if they want to have an idea of how life is going to be 30 years from now. But part of what I say is, if you want to look at a business model for what I just described, I would choose Amazon again. Amazon is a perfect business model for what I've just described. Why? Because with the monopoly of Amazon, of businesses, small businesses are buried under the business model of Amazon, right? They cannot find expression except they find room within the business model of Amazon, because Amazon pretty much is doing everything that anybody can do. It's into movies, it's into anything. Just think about it. You know, it's into, everybody pays Amazon. People don't know. Even Netflix pays Amazon, because Amazon is the landlord, through cloud computing, and all of that, and it's interesting to know that companies are giving millions of dollars to Amazon every month. I believe something is going to happen to Amazon. Maybe they are going to have to break the monopoly somehow. But part of what we must understand is that is how post-COVID is going to look like. You're going to find the 99% completely dependent. So small businesses, medium-sized businesses are either going to vanish, or they're going to find a compelling stake within the business model of some bigger organizations. So it's good to be very smart now and to say, answer some key questions. And part of the question that I always ask people to ask is, number one, what is too much now? What is too much? What are you doing that is too much right now? What is unnecessary? Because the unnecessary gives birth to the unnecessary. So you don't have to worry about unnecessary outcomes if you can focus on unnecessary investments. So, and unnecessary actions, then you automatically eliminate unnecessary actions. So the question is, what is unnecessary right now? What is too much? Where is too much? Am I overstaffed? Am I too much offline? The second question is, what is too little? What is too little? Am I too little online? Am I too fat offline? Am I too small offline? What is not gaining my rights in investment? What can I prioritize? What is powerful? That's the third question. What is powerful right now? The power right now is two things: technology and preference. I'm going to get to preference, but before I get to preference, let me list some industries that I think people should pay attention to. Vacation. The vacation space is going to be disrupted, very big, and that includes hospitality, that includes aviation, but the way to look at that is not to run away from it. It's not to now abandon the industry and say you want to go do something else. The way to look at that is to ask how you can play. Where is the money for you? 5 questions I always challenge people to ask right now. If you are in the disrupting industry, an industry that is being disrupted right now, that would be events management, for example, is being disrupted. The delivery space is being disrupted more than anything. Education is being disrupted massively. Security is being disrupted massively. The tech world, all of the apps that we were used to. Don't forget some simple concept. The reason why we don't hear of Kodak again is that Kodak was so loyal to what was working, they forgot it's going to change. Period. The reason why the Jews missed the Messiah was that they were so sure God gave them the Old Testament, and they were oppressed by that surety, and they invested too much of faith and loyalty in a fading quantity. And so they were so loyal to what was designed to fade. And so when the Messiah came, they missed it completely. We can't be so loyal to something and forget that it's going to change.